John Wayne Mason, M.D. 1924–2014, was an American physiologist and researcher who specialized in the interplay between human emotions and the endocrine system. Mason is regarded as an international leader and theoretician in the field of stress research, where he was one of the field's most prominent voices speaking out against the reigning model of stress promoted by Hans Selye, challenging the stress concept. Hans Selye's original concept of stress as a biological process has had an enormously stimulating effect on many areas of medicine and biology over the past 70 years, and continues to shape how people understand stress today. While many researchers have taken Selye's experiments and interpretations at face value, Mason noticed that Selye repeatedly referred to emotional factors in these experiments as mere nervous stimuli, downplaying the role of the mind. Yet Walter Cannon's prior work with animals, and Mason's own experiments at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, WRAIR, with both animals and human subjects, suggested that these mere stimuli were actually highly significant, and that the psychological and emotional state of the subjects under study required more careful attention. Over the course of his career at WRAIR, the West Haven VA Medical Center, and Yale University, Mason repeatedly challenged Selye to recognize the many flaws in his biological theory and to accept the importance of psychological factors in stress and disease. Mason and Selye's exchange of arguments and rebuttals in the Journal of Human Stress received popular press both at the time and more recently as a crucial turning point in the history of stress as a concept, and as the beginning of experimentally validated integrative medicine. Selected publications: Mason J.W., Psychological Influences on the Pituitary Adrenal Cortical System, Recent Progress in Hormone Research 15 to 345-389, 1959, Wolf C.T., Friedman S.B., Hofer M.A., Mason J.W., Relationship between Psychological Defenses and Mean Urinary 170HCS Excretion Rates, Part I, A Predictive Study of Parents of Fatally Ill Children, Psychosomatic Medicine 26 to 576-591, 1964, Mason J.W., Organization of Psychoendocrine Mechanisms, Psychosomatic Medicine 30 to 565-808, 1968, Mason J.W., Organization of the Multiple Endocrine Responses to Avoidance in the Monkey, Psychosomatic Medicine 30 to 774-790, 1968, Mason J.W., Overall Hormonal Balance as a Key to Endocrine Organization, Psychosomatic Medicine 30 to 791-808, 1968, Mason J.W., Strategy in Psychosomatic Research, Presidential Address, Annual Meeting of the American Psychosomatic Society, March 1970, Washington, D.C., Psychosomatic Medicine 32 to 427-439, 1970, Mason J.W., The Integrative Approach in Medicine, Implications of Neuroendocrine Mechanisms, Wilson Day Medical Center, 13 to 29, 1972, republished in Perspectives in Biology and Medicine 17 to 333-347, 1974, Mason J.W., Specificity in the Organization of Neuroendocrine Response Profiles, in Seaman P. Brown G. eds, Frontiers in Neuroscience and Neuroscience Research, University of Toronto Press, Toronto, 68 to 80, 1974, Mason J.W., Giller L., Costin T.R., Ostroff R.B., Pod L., Urinary free cortisol levels in post-traumatic stress disorder patients, Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease 174 to 145-149, 1986, Mason J.W., Costin T.R., Giller L., Multidimensional Hormonal Discrimination of Paranoid Schizophrenic from Bipolar Manic Patients, Biological Psychiatry 29 to 457-466, 1991, Mason J., Southwick S., Yehuda R., Wong S., Riney S., Bremner D., Johnson D., Lubin H., Blake D., Joe G., Gussman F., Charney D., Elevation of Serum-Free Triiodothyronine, Total Triiodothyronine, Thyroxine binding globulin and total thyroxine levels in combat-related post-traumatic stress disorder. Archives of General Psychiatry 51 to 629-641, 1994, Mason J., Wong S., Yehuda R., Riney S., Charney D., Southwick S. Psychogenic lowering of urinary cortisol levels linked to emotional numbing and ashamed depressive syndrome in combat-related post-traumatic stress disorder. Psychosomatic Medicine 633-387-401, 2001, Mason J., Wong S., Yehuda R., Lubin H., Johnson D., Bremner J. D., Riney S., Charney D., Southwick S. Marked lability and urinary cortisol levels in subgroups of combat veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder in an intensive exposure treatment program. Psychosomatic Medicine 64 to 238-246, 2002.